Hi Founder fans, Jason here, and today's founder is Aedanus Burke, an inaugural member of the United States House of Representatives, and a man who had a very interesting crusade against nobility. So Aedanus Burke was born in Ireland and had traveled quite a bit before settling in North America. He spent a good amount of time in the Caribbean. Eventually he finds his way to South Carolina where he makes his home. It's not too long thereafter that the Revolutionary War breaks out and Burke joins the local militia. He fights for 3 years before leaving his position when he was elected to the state assembly. However, once fighting turned south in a pretty heavy way, Burke leaves his position in the state assembly and again joins the local militia, serving for a significant portion of the war. After the Revolutionary War ends, Burke, who had made his name known in South Carolina's elite society, gets a little bit upset at the creation of an organization called the Society of the Cincinnati. You might be familiar with this organization. Many of the soldiers, specifically the officers in the Revolutionary War, saw the war concluding and all of the lawyers and doctors and merchants in Philadelphia were going to go home to their jobs, and these officers were soldiers. And if there was no warring going on, these soldiers would really have nothing to make money from. Therefore, they created the Society of the Cincinnati. It's kind of a brotherhood to look out for each other as veterans of the Revolutionary War. Now, while this might seem innocent on its surface, Burke was not happy, as many others would not be happy, that this was a hereditary society. If you were an officer in the Continental Army who served at least 3 years and you passed away, then your oldest male heir would join the organization in your stead. As for Burke, this certainly smelt like nobility, the way it was passed down hierarchically, especially from soldiers just at the start of this nation. Again, the Constitution had not yet been written in 1783, and there was nothing really stopping nobility from breaking out. Burke writes 2 pamphlets that year, one titled An Address to the Free Men of South Carolina, and another titled Considerations on the Society or Order of Cincinnati. He outlines many of the things I've already discussed. He also points out that how come only Continental Army officers are allowed to be involved, but state militia officers, like Burke, were not allowed to be involved. These pamphlets end up being wildly successful for the time, and many people quote them and reference them, including eminent founders like Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and most outspokenly Benjamin Franklin takes Burke's baton and runs with it, makes a real big deal, and he was at this point Benjamin Franklin. George Washington is elected the first president of this organization, and the first thing he does is he goes in and he says, hey, they've got a pretty good point about this hierarchy thing. We need to take that out as a reason for membership. And believe it or not, they do. The Society of Cincinnati removes this as a part of the qualifications to become a member. Then George Washington leaves and gets busy with other things, and the society sneaks the rule back in quietly. That being said, shortly thereafter, the Constitution is presented, or not shortly, about 4 years later, the Constitution is presented to the public, and Aedanus Burke is asked whether he would like to attend the South Carolina Ratification Convention. He does, and though South Carolina was pretty down with ratification, Aedanus Burke was not. He made a big old stink about it. Passes anyway, you might not be surprised, and Burke, for his hard work, is then elected as an inaugural member to the House of Representatives. And as silly as this might sound, someone who did not like the Constitution being elected to the inaugural Congress, it was fairly common as a way to kind of slow down some of the powers we just gave this gigantic new government. Now, Burke serves for just 1 term, then denies being reelected. He returns to South Carolina to serve on the court system. He had been serving in the court system throughout his career. He was riding circuit for several years until 1796, where Aedanus Burke is chosen as Chief Justice of the South Carolina Supreme Court. And that would be his final main office. He would spend the majority of the rest of his life overseeing the establishment of legal authorities in the state of South Carolina. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit like so more people can learn about the channel and learn about the American Revolution with us. If you're new here, subscribe. Put out videos about the American Revolution 7 days a week and some other live fun events. That being said, I am done for today. I will be back with another founder for you tomorrow.